So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the viewers of Groundbreakers. Today, we have a very special guest, Professor Neelima. She is currently at IIT Indore, and I've known her for about a year now. And I think her story is very, very inspirational on what she has done in the Indian Society of Civil Engineers, especially focusing on geotechnical side of things, and even at a global front where she's taken our country to the global stage and is also leading the organization of one of the major conferences in our industry, which will happen in Indore in a year. So if you guys can make it, please make it to FMGM Indore as listeners. So, Professor Neelima, thank you so much for your time. And I think over this podcast, we're really going to talk about India's geotechnical leap, the science, the systems, and we can start with your personal journey. So, in your personal journey, do you want to take us through what got you into this field? What kind of mentorship opportunities made a difference in your own career and how institutions are today?
Okay. So first of all, good morning and thank you so much, Ritvik, for this initiative and inviting me in this Groundbreakers podcast. I'm excited to do this because this is my first podcast as a thing, but because I hosted, but not as a speaker or something. So thanks again. So coming to actually, I came from a place called Tirupati, and I'm from a conservative family, but educated family as well. So I got a lot of freedom from my parents. There is nothing like you can do this, you cannot do this. There is nothing like that at home. So I should feel that is one of the very fortunate thing that I had it. So having a family with broad mindset, especially my parents, even like my in-laws, everyone supported me in my decisions and journey. And big support is my daughter, whom I left, when she was very young, and she's a big supporter as well. Coming to the professional thing, I didn't had anything about civil engineering because there was no woman engineer from my family. I'm the first woman, okay, engineering background. I got into civil engineering, then I started it. I really don't know anything. That's how I started my journey. But I should say that I'm very thankful to my teachers in my university, in National University in Tirupati, who mentored very good actually. I should say that we don't have that kind of teachers. At least I know that in the university systems or even in some of the IITs also. I'm very fortunate. And then when I moved to IIT Delhi, also like my teachers have really supported me. So what I see is like to, and even in my career also, like I had the support from Government of India through sponsored projects, DST especially. I should thank that because they actually supported my ideas, and where I could validate the research statement. So it gave me a really good platform. I think I I feel like I'm very fortunate to have this kind of supports from every stage in my career. But to just say that it needs a it requires a institutional and very systemic interventions because now when I see that what in the last 20 years, because I completed my PhD in 2026, and I did it when I was 25 because I didn't had any break in my career. And so for the last from 2019 years, I'm just seeing how things are happening. There's a huge improvement happened in terms of like there is a kind of for taking girl students into IITs. Okay, we have a mechanism now, and even to faculty there's a mechanism. There is like EDI has been well considered in many ways, like it can be promotion pathways or institutional support systems, at least there I think there is a lot of improvement I can see. But increasing representation in technical committees or general boards, policy bodies, okay, so it's also one of the key things that makes that entire ecosystem, I'll say, to be more impactful. So I feel like there's a lot of talent among girls because among the 10 PhD students who graduated with me till now, six were from girl students, and they're really doing well. They're at NGI, they're at a faculty at NITs, and they have very good roles in industry as well, like in top companies like SMEC and other. So they have talent, and only thing is like they need support from every side, like family side and in the colleagues, professional, everywhere. They need little bit of support, but they do equally good.
Yes, and I think that like we've really grown as a nation, and you're a role model for many young women and also men in our industry and our nation because I think people see your story and they see your PhD students grow and also I feel like we're very grateful that today there are systems for women to be more involved in the university side, PhD side, and also the business side. And I think the more we can bridge this gap and the more support we can give, the more we can grow our people in our nation and also our talent and our nation at a global scale. And we do see, right, like in every industry, in every country, there's these three areas. One is the field engineering or the engineering, one is academia, and one is the policies or the government side. So in India, how do you feel we're doing between this triangle and how do we bridge this gap if there is a gap?
Yeah, I say that there is a gap. There's no doubt about it. Okay, so these three clusters, which are very, very important. Okay, so what we need at present, what I think is like we need a translational platform where, like, whatever the research findings, they should be framed as an operational guideline or some design specifications. I can give an example only. Because nowadays, like if you see the proposal calls from government of India for any kind of research proposal calls, it is considering this kind of platform, like where you have to have a industry partner. Okay, that means like demonstrable research is only. It's not like research is only up to your publications and things. So we have to think next level, like TRL 4, 6, or whatever it is. So second thing is like when you have this kind of joint initiatives like involving research groups, industry and industry, especially in civil industry, when you compare with IT industry or other industry, civil industry don't have time. Okay, and it is a bit unstructured also. And then the other cluster, which is very crucial, who make a decisions like regulatory authorities. So we can actually can institutionalize this exchange. Okay, so there are a couple of things which I see, like professor of practice in IITs, like or in other institutions also, which started like a person is leader in industry, so he or she is invited to teach. Okay, in academia, that is very good initiative. Similarly, some of the younger academicians in some institutions, like recently AICT has this kind of internships for faculty members from AICT approved institutions, where they can spend 8 months in industry, make them, because civil engineer in the civil industry, like in the previously we used to place concrete, now people are pouring concrete. There's a lot of changes happened in the practice. To me, sometimes I feel that maybe practice is little ahead of academia. Okay, so we need to enhance our bidirectional knowledge flow, and it should ensure research informs like policy and practice in real time. So but these kind of interactions, any industry academia interactions is something which I used to see when I was undergraduate student also. There were some workshops and all these things happening, but the scale it needs to have, okay, that is not happening. Okay, because of this reason only, industry don't have time. Let me tell you very openly. Okay, so even if you want to send a good students to industry, and they say that they cannot utilize their thing also. So there we have very good students who really want to go to core engineering, and because students they get a job, it's not about the job, but civil after training 4 years in a particular stream, they should restrict to that stream is what I believe, right? And that's good for everyone, to the nation, to us, to them, everyone. So to happen that, we need a very strong engagement from industry also, not just their timelines, because of course time is money for them, right? Because
Yeah,
if they delay it, men machinery are at the site and it's a loss for them. So I do
true.
understand their problems, constraints also, but they but in the recently, especially for the research perspective, if you look at it, government don't want to have invest money on just research for publication kind of thing. They're
True.
asking this. They're asking
Hmm.
this. They want to have a partner from industry who can also put money for on this
Yeah.
particular research. This is very active in other countries, because I was a JSPS fellow at Tokyo University. They're like in the evening, that a person from that industry comes, sit with a student and a faculty. They used to have a discussion,
Hmm.
which is not at present.
Yeah.
Maybe we are on the path to grow.
Yeah, and I'm very aligned because, I mean, even for us in our niche of civil engineering, we've gone from manual data collection to LoRa based, and now we're doing machine learning on the hardware itself, not even on the cloud. And I think we need that strategic alignment because the industry can grow a business can do the work that the people need, and the government will provide the policies or the pathway to do that work for the industry and the academia. But even for us internally, I think our biggest research has come from the youngest undergraduates who we've got or the interns who we've got from the universities because those ideas, the knowledge is very, very fresh. So it's a very challenging task that we need to do. But if we can strategically align the research in our industry and our academia, which is backed by government policy, it would be really beneficial because, yes, the government should support research for the sake of research because that's the only way you're going to get something new. When you do a abstract statement, it is meant to be abstract to find a concrete solution. But also, the government should enable workflows for the industry where the work we do in civil engineering is valued. Like, even if you talk about monitoring, they say it's use some of the ministers who we meet with, they say very, very useful. Some people say it's useless, it's a compliance. It's done because it's on the checklist. The concrete is poured because it's on a checklist. But which concrete is poured, the strength of the concrete, the timing of concrete pour and curing is very, very critical, which is often overlooked because of time and money. So in everything, I think that could be the fundamental gap that we need to bridge. So that makes a lot of sense what you said, and I really hope that we could bring your experiences that you did at JSPS to even a larger scale with time at our level. So if we go further into some current projects in India, I noticed that you were doing a lot of work with landslides. So what is happening with the landslides preparedness in India, disaster management in India? How are we integrating our learnings, and where do you see this going in the next 3 years, 5 years?
Okay. So actually, if you see that, not just only landslides, I actually started my research at IIT Delhi on seismic microzonation. So that is actually on seismic hazard. Um, Again, like it, that project is was funded to my guide from Government of India after Bhuj earthquake. So I think that's an eye opener. Bhuj earthquake was an eye opener to the country. Otherwise, like after that, lot of research has happened in terms of microzonation and guidelines, especially BIS guidelines. Everything has improved. So we have advanced in macro scale hazard mapping or early warning, like pilot deployments have happened, and for engineered slope stabilization also. But preparedness is still highly variable, I can say, across regions. For the last 5 years, I'm involved with NDMA also for some of the technical advisory committee as well. But the priorities, key priorities really improved, I can say, which include like densification of the real-time monitoring networks, like lot of integration of hydrometeorological forecast. It's not just like if I talk about landslides, you are also working. It's not just about a geotechnical or geological thing. It's more of hydrological aspects, climate change, atmospheric related. So there are now these cloud properties have been completely changed. Our rainfall forecasting models are not exactly working. So many changes actually, both spatial and temporal. So these integrating this kind of ground instrumentation, or finally what we want is like to reduce the preparedness, as you rightly asked. We should ensure district level susceptibility maps, and these should be dynamic maps. It cannot be just I prepare a map that will be there for next 10 years, 20 years. No, because of the highly dynamic atmospheric or rainfall pattern changes, or even seismic also. So we need to translate that into actionable evacuation and mitigation protocols also. So that is actually a systemic thing. There are so many departments involved, right? We have IMD, we have GSI, okay, we have many PWD. So there are state disaster management authorities. So at any taluk level or any smallest administrative block, okay, for that we have to make such kind of maps. And more than all this, I think preparedness is through engagement with the community. So
Yeah.
people should know what is the hazard level with which they are living on, and the proper bylaws, guidelines, okay, building bylaws, because as a civil engineer finally we look at it. So we need to have that. Like if you're making a road, I was in Manipur,
Mm-hmm.
people saying that the slopes were very safe, and these people make a road, after that it has a problem. So this engineered slopes or design things has to be also taken care properly. It's not like I'm a contractor, my thing is to put a road from here to here, and whatever happens on slope I don't care. Okay, so that doesn't work, right? So you have to have a global stability thing. So these things has to be properly taken care then. But lot of improvement I personally see, for especially with NDMA. Okay, they are
Mm-hmm.
doing a lot of activity, especially on capacity building, on different aspects, and bringing all the, see what happens in research also. So people
Yeah.
are working in their own, they with their group silos, I can say.
Mm-hmm.
uh, okay, so I also did a project that is actually the first project, and real time monitoring happened first time in the country. Someone showed the data. That's what my sponsor told me. You are the first one who showed us the data from real ground. Okay. That's on Kalimpong. So when we did something for the Kalimpong, so we had a NGO Save the Hills in that region. So because in this region, this Kalimpong town, they speak Nepali. They don't speak
Mm-hmm.
Bengali or Hindi. It's very difficult to communicate. But this NGO, the Save the Hills, they literally helped me. Whatever our thresholds, they had a workshops with them. They explained that, and how to build a small rain gauge. Okay, that
Mm-hmm.
you anybody can make their
Yeah.
own small rain. Right? It don't need to be calibrated and all that. So with that, like putting a red mark on that threshold, if this, and training school kids also, if rain comes like this, you have to be careful for next six
Yeah.
hours or something. These kind of preparedness is been happening, but not to the scale that we want it.
True.
Okay, for that we need lot of all. There are several departments, and these
Yeah.
departments never speak to each other. So everyone does their own
Oh,
way.
and
So that integration, I personally feel, is something where we need to improve for
yeah.
having a better to reduce our risk, either because of
Um,
landslides or because of earthquakes.
Yep, and I think it's also very reactive because even we've like done a lot of intensive monitoring of Joshimath, etc. But that's when you know what's happening. You know it's a risk for an area. So actually, if you could have like a national dashboard, and today the technology exists, it's being used. You have the remote sensing, you have the surveying, you have the sensors, you have the risk mitigation, you have the rockfall protection, you have all of the geobugs, you have all of the tools. But today we just need to align people and say that with one is the research exists, the willingness exists, the industry exists, the technology exists, the need exists. But I think that the two gaps, like you said, one is educating the communities, which is also very possible today. Integrating the technology with the community is also very possible today. But the gap is really to tell every single department to be like, guys, this is what we're doing, but and it'll benefit everyone, and it's not that expensive. Like people, it's not like 10 years ago when you were buying a chip, it cost 20,000 rupees. Today, आपका phone ही 20,000 rupees में five chips, like it brings your five chips together. So over time, the technologies have also reduced a lot in cost. So hopefully we can align some of these. I mean, there has to be some sort of alignment and it'll actually add value. So going deeper into this, that when we see these underutilized tools, underutilized data sets, underalignment, where do you think we can start to really align people? Have there any steps that have been taken place on a scale of 1 to 10? Where are we on the alignment?
Yeah, I'll give five because I
Five. That's better than
uh,
zero.
course, five because it's improving actually. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
saying that personally because I started seismic microzonation studies where we didn't had any seismic data. Now we have very good network, okay, and freely available data is they are putting in their portals. IMD is giving data for rainfall, but yes. Key underutilized data sets include high resolution rainfall intensity duration data. We have daily rainfall data, but we need at least 15-minute data. Okay,
Hmm.
recently because I was in that Himachal and all, I asked because I visited as a one of the member, multi-sectoral committee member of Minister of Home Affairs. I visited and I gave a report based on my observations after the event. But I just, as a researcher, it always goes, okay, what exactly happened? Let's see and all, right?
Hmm.
So I was trying to do some analysis. So, and when I wrote it to IMD, they send me daily rainfall data, but 15 minutes ka data is available. Okay,
Hmm.
so that I got it because I know someone and I asked
Yeah.
her and she helped me a lot. So this is not open. Okay, this is not. I can say these kind of underutilized data sets are still there, as you asked me. Continuous, monitoring for subsurface displacements, like in the entire Himalayas, GPS network has been instrumental. We have data. Okay, and INSAR based deformation analysis for wide area surveillances. So this is there actually.
Yeah.
We have data. It's not like we don't have data.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, most of the work or like most of the models as RAMs or something like in landslides, it has been validated in Alps. Okay, but it was not validated on Himalayas. Okay,
Yeah.
it's everyone is looking for data from Indian or Himalayas abroad. Okay, so being India may be the main. So our data is actually very rich, okay, for scientific research, and it can be related to landslides, GLOF, or any kind of cyclones or floods, so any kind of disasters, or other kind of studies on Himalayas as well. So our data is very very important, and so maybe this geological, hydrological survey data, they are often they're archived in non-digital forms. Okay,
Yeah.
so they must be integrated or into some centralized open access geospatial platforms for better hazard prediction and modeling. So this is
Hmm.
very very important, is what at least like you give this data with some kind of maybe endorsement letters from your institutes or whatever it is, undertakings
Yeah.
or something, but take that. Okay, and at least like that kind of things still needs little improvement, but it's not like we don't have data. We
True.
do have very good data. It's there in different pockets. Okay, so like I was working on Maharashtra also, some parts of Maharashtra, especially Western Ghats, Mahabalipuram and all. So where like what we are trying to do, we could not get data from SDMA. So what I was trying to do is like local Marathi newspapers also we are considering, to collect and make our inventory database. So we do our own way of getting this data. If it could have been available in some format, and that will help people to work on, it will also help the state disaster management authorities or whoever the concerned administration also, so that they can also take their own thresholds and warn
Yeah.
people for evacuation in case of any emergency situations.
True. And like, for example, Rena and Bhutan, we did this whole study. Himalayas, where we did INSAR. We did NDV, NDBI, chirps, all the free data, built a live dashboard on a GIS platform, and now the next phase is on the higher zones, we're installing instruments. And that's something that we can easily do here as well. But like, see, like the data is there, the technology that we can process inside for all of Uttarakhand, for example, in like 2 weeks and give a 2 week update on a platform like Procure that's there today. And then you can hire two data scientists or join hands with a data scientist in a background with civil engineering from any institute and ask them to model the data and make sense of the data and then put one ML engineer to build forecasts and link.
Yes.
But I think that that call to action is like when you go to an authority and say we can also do it for 2 rupees when the actual cost is 20 rupees. Private sector, we can do it for 2 rupees. On government sector, they don't want to pay the 2 rupees. And if to take it for free is that's where the challenge comes, right? Like a private institution probably cannot afford the ability because it's a huge cost to company to deploy that level of technology for free, but you can, of course, reduce your profitability to a high level and do it where you don't lose money. And for an institute, they need the funding to be able to do this. So the point is that at some point, the unfortunate reality is that there's some funding that's needed to be approved by the authorities to be able to do this at scale, which is where I feel there's a gap, but that's also changing.
I had different experiences. Sometimes, I was attending a couple of meetings. Sometimes they say, especially the NDMS and SDMS, they say that they have money. It's not about money. Ka
Yeah.
problem nahi hai.
Huh.
Okay, tell you, in these institutions there is no problem of money. Okay, but only thing is like I feel like right decisions.
Yeah.
Okay, and with right choices. And if you talk about monitoring, there are 100 companies who say that 1 rupee wala bhi hai, 100 rupees ka bhi same sensor is available in the market. So
Hmm.
reliability, closeness, and those things are not proper. Okay,
Yeah.
you are also aware of that.
Yeah, very aware of that.
What I personally feel is like, maybe kind of they were not even aware who are all the people who can do monitoring also, especially because I'm for some of the SDMS when I'm closely interacting, they really don't know. Okay,
Yeah.
recently somebody asked, can you please connect us with some guy who can do real reliable monitoring? Okay,
Hmm.
because that's not my job. My job is I'm a researcher. Okay, I'm a
Yeah.
teacher. That's all. So I'm not here कि I can suggest कि ये जो मैंने use किया and this I have used and this system is good. That much I
Yeah.
can tell. Okay,
Yeah.
my confidence of experience based on the experience. So because of that experience, they asked me, okay, could you suggest? So what I understood is like, one another problem I see is low cost. Okay, low cost doesn't work many a times. Okay, so we cannot
True.
go for low cost
True.
and reliability, robustness, because these are all in very challenging environments. We need a very robust systems. Because
I
I
agree.
use system which has been taken from Japan, okay, which has been widely validated system for landslide monitoring. I'm not into system development, so
True.
I need a system which is like I want data basically. I want to work on the
Yeah.
data. So they also need. I think there is some gap I see, Ritvik. Okay, it's not about money. It's not about we don't have technology. Of course, we have good companies who are doing it. Only problem here, and it's not even about intentions. Everyone want to do
Agreed.
something good.
Agreed.
Something is strongly is basically it may be communication and information.
And awareness. We have then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is not there, and also like we are such a diversified system. Okay,
True.
even decision making also is a highly diversified system. People from different backgrounds are there. So based on their backgrounds, also someone feel that it is good, someone doesn't feel it's good. So there is this kind of thing. But if someone can demonstrate, I always feel that if someone can demonstrate one particular case, okay, as a case study, see this is what has done, and if you want to do it, so that kind of thing is one, at least one very specific region. Okay, demonstrate and do it. We did it for Kalimpong because Kalimpong was with the
Mm-hmm.
grievance in PMO. Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't know where Kalimpong was. But my sponsor asked me, "Ki, take this site. If you want to do something, take this and show us." That's how I got into this landslide monitoring. So when I taken that site, people were literally losing land, and farmers were becoming coolies after one disaster, one night, and they don't have land. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's me very very sad situation. They're not worried for their life. Okay, they're not worried there for house. They're only worried for their agriculture land, which is everything for them. And after 5 years, where we have made a system and we hand it over to them to take over all that. Now there's no rain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's very interesting. पहले तो इतना rain था, there was so much rain and a lot of landslides. Now there's no rain, no landslides. I'm happy that there's no landslides. Okay, but whatever I did it, could not go for a long time or something like that. Okay, so these dynamic changes are happening in
True.
some of the landslide, areas. So there only we have to make something, and it's a continuous effect, continuous engagement. I see
Yeah.
with policy, okay, or administration, and also the person who is working on that to make it. But it's not about intention, it's not about money, or it's
Agreed.
not about anything. It's
Yeah.
only about communication and the knowledge or awareness, as you said. Yeah.
That's true. And I'm fully aligned. It's like if you're a startup, it's so easy to grow because you have five people making the decisions, five people doing that, and you're starting with the new technology. If you're a legacy corporation, you have so many decision makers, so many departments working in silos to even implement a tool like SAP, which is a good technology, takes years. It's the same problem here. You're a large, experienced policy bank, and to align everyone takes time. To make someone who's done something for 40 years, if you drank Coke for 10 years, you won't change to Sprite on the 11th year's first day because someone said Sprite is better. So I think that that gap, that fundamental gap is really, and also seeing now, you have to see it to believe it. Today, people say
Yes.
Chat GPT does everything, but you don't believe it until you use it and you say, wow, it actually did this well, it didn't do this well. So I think there's actually a roadmap that if some people can put their energies in this and have the time to, can really make a difference. And so something we should discuss with people because it is possible. So, think we have a few more minutes left. So I think to close, as we move forward, I think India, in my 25 years, has really grown as a nation. I think technology has grown even faster. And I think education systems have evolved. So what would your advice be to anyone who's entering this industry or anyone who's also been in this industry for 40 years? Like, what would you suggest that to go where we want to go, to give back to our communities, to give back to people, and to evolve with benefit of most? Because benefit of all is very tough to justify, but benefit of almost everyone or every technology or tool, what advice would you give to people in the industry, or what is your one go?
Okay, as you rightly said, yes, we have seen a lot of improvement or a lot of developments happened in India over last 15 20 years. That's very true in every aspect. So yes, if I talk about infrastructure industry, so many metros, hydropower projects, highways are like highway infrastructure, tunnels are coming up
Hmm.
like myself as a consultant to a lot of Bharatmala projects, nuclear power plants, like you take anything, wind turbines, like a lot of improvement has been seen. And in especially in infrastructure projects, where like if you even instrumentation also, like in some of the projects, instrumentation and monitoring is a compulsory thing. So I was been doing some of the helping the codal provisions like BAS and IRC. We are making some codes for tunnel monitoring and landslide monitoring, new codes coming up. So I think there's a lot. very big future for civil engineering. And
Yeah.
civil engineering is not like only cement, concrete, steel, like as 30 years before or 20 years before.
Yeah.
A lot of changes, IoT, AI, instrumentation, VM, everything. There's a lot of technology, embedded kind of thing. Because if you see smart cities, it is not just about civil engineering, how you
Yeah.
build a system, right?
It's
How to build a
80.
large system, and then with your domain expertise from civil engineering to handle air pollution हो सकता है और water management हो सकता है और waste management, anything, any problem of the urban center. So a lot of it's basically engineering plus kind of innovation or technology part of it. That's what now civil engineering has to grow. If
Hmm.
you see metros all like Calcutta Metro, right? Classic examples of infrastructure, like, and for me sustainability, stability or safety is not just only the one which we have to look for it. In addition to that, we have to look for sustainability starting from its materials, like local
Yeah.
materials like bamboos. We have 2000 varieties of bamboos in the country. I think
Hmm.
this is a country where we have so many varieties of bamboos. How to use bamboos? Okay, a lot of researches went are going on, and then green buildings and net zero kind of things. So lot, I think civil engineering has a very vast, very big future. I personally feel it.
Yeah.
So my daughter also joined civil engineering recently, so
Yes.
she's in the second year of undergraduate. And that's the same thing I tell my students also. Don't look at like only this way, because it has grown so diversified and so
True.
many challenges. And it's not like it's going to, you will solve it and it will be done. No,
Yeah.
it cannot be, because the scale of the population diversity we have, socio-economical, cultural diversities, which you have to take, when you
Yeah.
are going for a design. So there are many challenges are coming up.
True. And I think it's a very bright time to join also because we've got so much infrastructure. We're going to build so much infrastructure. Like you said, it's about sustainability,
Maintenance. When if you build it also, you
maintenance,
need
asset
maintenance,
maintenance, सब कुछ तो
asset
there's
management.
so much to do. And I just feel like it requires patience, but everything happens with time. And the more things that need to improve, the more time it takes. And we have, I think, one of the largest growth opportunities and also one of the largest populations and one of the largest uh, technological opportunities as well to be able to grow the nation. So it requires that much amount of patience and alignment, which has started. And I think the flywheel is rolling. So hopefully, when we do another episode, whenever, like, or if we do a recap 3 years from now, I think even in 3 years, there'll be massive change. Yep.
Sure, sure.
Yes, so thank you so much for today. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I really wish your contributions continue to have an impact on the people who don't directly see the impact also because the people on the roads in the tunnels don't they know it's a road to go to office, they know it's a highway to go home, they don't know the engineering behind it, and I really wish we can grow the nation through alignment the way we have been and align more and keep on growing. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks for having me here. Thank you. Good day.
Thank you. Thank you.